officially was released last month. We started today's show with the latest from the Grand Rapids-based singer and songwriter Tim Krause, who releases material under the moniker Types. That's T-T-Y-P-E-S. His new single is titled I Remember in the Time of Dangerous Groups, which he describes as a, quote, loosely sci-fi themed dream pop song about unrequited love, a song about being happy, about remembering being sad. Think about that for a minute. Krause is influenced by icon Brian Eno's music, something certainly evident on that particular track. And while we definitely embrace new music here every week for Local Spins on WYCE, today we're going to delve into something a little bit different. We're going to delve deep into Michigan's past for some historic folk music, courtesy of our in-studio guests who are breathing new life into these traditional songs as part of their Michigan I.O. project, which will be on display tonight at Wealthy Theater. Welcome, guys, to Local Spins on WYCE.
Thanks, John. Good to be here.
So in the studio today, we have 5 of the 6 members of the band. So maybe one of you can sort of tell us a little bit about, who's in the studio today and, how this all came together.
Sure, we'll do. So I'm Andy Bast, and I'm standing next to Jake Helder, Jonathan Gabhart, Noah McLaren, and Aaron Cates. And we're missing Bruce Benedict, who's going to be with us tonight. But we're a group of friends that came together a few years ago and started exploring these old folk songs from the Great Lakes region. So there was a project on National Public Radio that digitized all of these old folk songs, and we couldn't believe that there was all this material out there that many people haven't heard of. So we kind of mined that. I use that metaphorically, but also for the sake of the songs. We found a bunch of songs that we loved. We went up north to the Upper Peninsula a couple years ago at right about this time and re-recorded them, reimagined them. So we basically only do songs that were written before 1940, but they're still new. So.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So this actually goes back. Alan Lomax was sort of a song collector, and the Library of Congress sent him out in the 1930s to sort of document the folk tradition here in Michigan and elsewhere in the Great Lakes region. And he obviously found a lot of songs that were related to things like mining and shipping, things that I think, and logging, I imagine, too. So talk a little bit about that. What kind of songs really resonated with you guys when it comes to Michigan's history?
Yeah. Noah, do you want to jump in on that a little bit?
It's fascinating to hear these songs that are written about the places that we know, but they were just so very different back then. We're singing a song today that was written about a Traverse City that was really just Traverse Village, and
right.
we're singing a sailor's song that describes a tumultuous journey from Chicago to Cleveland and how they almost died on the seas, but they made it. So I think I love imagining just the wild world that they inhabited, these writers.
And I think that it's interesting that a lot of these songs, and I imagine that once you guys got into this, this was part of your mission, is that you don't want to see these things die. A lot of people didn't know these songs even existed. Right. Is this a way of sort of keeping that tradition alive and maybe keeping some of these classics, in the mainstream, so to speak?
Yeah, well, we had never heard any of these songs, and as we played shows, no one that we've played for has heard any of these songs. So it's fun to kind of think of it as a chain, and we're just kind of one link in this chain. Maybe Alan Lomax was another link, almost 100 years ago, where he found these songs that could have died out and went into pubs and went on people's front porches and had a huge recording rig with him in the 30s and was just an adventurer and found these people, had them sing into their microphone back then, and due to the Library of Congress, we kind of heard them anew, and now we get to share them live. We don't think that it's kind of nostalgic, but it's also new. Like we're definitely adding our own spin to it. So we like to think of it as a living tradition that we're just a part of.
Great. Let's hear your version of one of these songs. What are you going to do for us first?
Sure. This is that song Noah was talking about, Traverse City, and yeah.
So is there an author of this song by any chance, or is there how far back does this song date? Does anybody know?
This one goes back, well, at least to the early 1900s, and I think this one was written by one of the, I'd have to look up again on who the gentleman who wrote this one was, but I think this was one of the original ones that we kind of uncovered as we listened to the Lomax recordings.
Right,
So.
sounds great. So here we go for the Michigan I.O. project here for Local Spins on WYCE.
2, 3, 4. When I first come to Traverse Town, there was 2 houses scattered all around. There was one place that I could stay overnight if I would pay. Oh dear, oh dear. I never did see what a place Traverse City is a good thing to be. Oh dear. There was a blacksmith right in town. There you could get your horseshoeing done. Find him in this town, oh, reading up the news, or out in the street there picking horseshoes. Oh dear, oh dear. I never did see what a place Traverse City is a good thing to be. Oh dear. There's Mr. Gunton, I suppose you all know. If you want good boarding, there's a place to go. A little bit of cake and a little bit of gin, a little back door for to step right in. Oh dear, oh dear. I never did see what a place Traverse City is a good thing to be. Oh dear. There's Mr. Hannah, though I like to forget, he's the best man in this whole lot. You go to a meeting and he preach and he pray. When he come home, the cards he play. Oh dear, oh dear. I never did see what a place Traverse City is a good thing to be. Oh dear. I never did see what a place Traverse City is a good thing to be. Oh dear. I never did see what a place Traverse City is a good thing to be. Oh dear.
All right, Traverse City here. Now it's interesting. The name of this project is Michigan I.O. Is the name of? Do you have a name for the band itself, or
Yeah, it's a little nebulous. I think the band is now also called Michigan I.O.
That's what I wondered.
We didn't really have a plan going into this. We just kind of went up north and started recording these things, and it seemed like that's just kind of what it became. So it's the album's Michigan I.O. The band's Michigan I.O. Although now we've gotten such a response to this. We're going to do a volume 2. So
nice.
that'll be recorded next spring. Another person invited us to their cabin and said, why don't you do one here? It's another kind of historic town, and we're going to do another one this spring. So, but I think it's Michigan I.O.
So how did you guys first get together, and how do you know each other? You're from the Holland area, I understand. What's the background of this particular group of folks?
Well, we have all been hanging around for a few years now. We initially started playing music together through the various academic institutions we found ourselves around.
Which ones?
Hope College and Western Theological Seminary, and have played a lot of church music together too. And so, yeah, it's probably been about 5 years now that we've been just doing various things around town together.
And is this, did you guys grow up like in the folk tradition, so to speak? I mean, you got a mandolin, there's a stand-up bass, there's a violin, the banjo. Is this sort of what you guys grew up listening to?
Well, I think we've all had a love of folk music, but you're going to hear a couple of really great folk music players later tonight. Nate Roberts and Hayes Griffin, who are opening for us. We kind of hack it on these instruments. These guys actually know what they're doing, but we have fun with it. And I think we've all played music since a young age, and so we've my first instrument was trumpet, but quickly you pick up other things along the way. So.
No, it sounds great. And tonight, you guys will be performing. The show starts at 6:30 at Wealthy Theater here in Grand Rapids. Nate Roberts and Hayes Griffin, a duo that plays a lot of incredible bluegrass music, is also on the bill. And are you guys playing anywhere else here later this year, maybe in 2020?
Nothing on the books as of yet, but we do have a website, Michigan I.O. What's it called?
Yeah, that's right.
MichiganIO.com. There we go. It's MichiganIO.com. We're good at this.
Marketing.
Yeah. MichiganIO.com, and we'll have other shows coming up here this winter as well.
All right. Well, let's hear something else from the band. What else do you have on the docket today?
Do you want to talk about this for a sec, Noah?
Yeah, the next one is called Red Iron Ore. It's the sailor's song about taking too much iron ore from place to place. So the one thing that I am interested by in this song is just taking note of the various place names that come through. So you can actually follow the ship all the way across. That said, we're singing a shortened version of it for you today. So there's about half the journey. If you want to hear the whole one, hey, come tonight.
Come tonight. Yeah, it's 11 verses, but we're not going to do 11 verses right now.
Well, it's like the record, the Edmund Fitzgerald. How far back does this date? Do you know?
It's hard to say. Some songs will identify a certain year. This one does not have that. Mm-hmm. So all we know is that they start in Chicago and end in Cleveland.
All we know is that it's old.
Yeah, that's it.
Definitely pre-1930. That we can guarantee that.
That's true, because he stands up in a bar and says, "Listen to me." So
Here we go once again for Local Spins on WYCE.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come, all you bold sailors that follow the lakes. On an iron ore vessel you're a living to make. I shipped in Chicago, bid adieu to the shore. Bound for Escanaba for red iron ore. In the month of September, the 17th day, $2.25 is all they would pay. And on Monday morning, the Bridgeport did take the old E.C. Roberts out into the lake. The wind from the southward sprang up a fresh breeze. Away through Lake Michigan the Roberts did sneeze. Out through the long water the Roberts did roar. And on Friday morning we passed through death's door. This packet she hauled across the mouth of Green Bay. Before her cold water she dashed the white spray. We rounded the sand point, the anchor let go. We furled in our canvas and the watch went below. Soon we made fast to an iron ore pile. They lowered their chutes and like thunder did roar. They spouted into us their red iron ore. Some sailors took shovels while others took spades. Some took wheelbarrows, each man to his trade. We looked like red devils, our fingers got sore. We cursed Escanaba, that damned iron Saginaw Bay, the Roberts did ride, with dark and deep water rolling overside. And now for Port Huron, the Roberts must go, where the tug Katie Williams will take us in tow. Now my song is ended, I hope you won't laugh. Our dunnage is packed and all hands are paid off. Here's health to the Roberts, she's staunch, strong and true. Never forgotten, bold boys of her crew. Here's health to the Roberts, she's staunch, strong and true. Never forgotten, bold boys of her crew.
Celebrating Michigan's rich folk heritage by reimagining folk songs from way back, from the 1900s, 1800s. Michigan I.O. here in studio. That was the song Red Iron Ore, performed live here at Local Spins on WYCE. Obviously, harmonies are incredibly important for what you guys are doing. Do you guys spend a lot of time sort of meshing, or was this sort of a natural thing that just sort of fell together?
Yeah, well, it sort of is different every single time we do it, because I think we've kind of been doing music together enough that we do it. We just, I don't know how to answer that question. We are confident with singing together because we've done it so much, and I think we find a spot. So, but we love it, and that's just, I think we get great joy out of singing together too. So.
Well, you can hear lots more where that came from tonight at Wealthy Theater starting at 6:30 p.m. Michigan I.O. will be playing a full concert. They released an album earlier this year. The vinyl is out today, so you'll be able to pick up copies of the vinyl. It's a beautiful-looking package, by the way. It looks great. Definitely sort of celebrates Michigan's history, I think, the cover and beyond. And I think for those that are really maybe have never, most people have never heard these songs, what am I saying? So I think it'll be a great opportunity for people tonight to be able to sort of dig into what Michigan's history is all about, and it's great that you guys have done this. Obviously, there must, like you say, you're going to do another album, so there must have been hundreds of recordings to choose from, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's over 300 songs, and people keep sending us more, so that's kind of fun too. And there's definitely enough. So if you come tonight, you'll hear also some of the stories behind these songs. We've got some kind of text that we've gathered from some of the books that are out there about this stuff, and we're just gonna have fun. We'll do a sing along too. We're gonna end the set with a little sing along with some songs that maybe people have heard of too. So, but nothing. Our thing is we're not gonna do any song written before 1940. So you're just gonna have to do "This Land Is Your Land" and some other stuff.
That's great. Yes, so Bruce, Andy, Jacob, Noah, Aaron, and Jonathan all will be at Wealthy Theater tonight, along with Nate Roberts and Hayes Griffin also will be on the bill. So 6:30 p.m. Wealthy Theater. I also ask all the musicians that come in on this show to name another local band that they love, and you picked a band that just recently released a new album. Talk a little bit about Jack Droppers.
Yeah, Jack Droppers and the Best Intentions. Great band, of which we are longtime good friends and former classmates with a few of those, Jack and Garrett and Josh. And so, yeah, we love their music and happy that they have a new record out too.
Great. Well, congratulations on this vinyl coming out today, and good luck tonight. And we'll look forward to Volume 2 coming out in 2020. And this is indeed the musician's pick of the day, Jack Droppers and the Best Intentions, and the song Stuck in My Head from their brand new album for Local Spins on WYCE 88.1 FM.